Hey guys, Lytane here, and thank you so much for checking out this video, liking, subscribing, and commenting and disliking and all that kind of jazz. It really does mean a lot to me because it just shows that I'm doing some stupid stuff on the internet and other people are seeing it and stuff. It's really cool. But anyways, today I want to talk about something that is very, very different. A video game that was very ahead of its time in terms of graphics, in terms of storytelling, in terms of gameplay. A very unique indie game, actually, before indie games were a thing. So today I want to see if Another World is worth it. Another World, also known as Out of This World in North America, came out in 1991 on the Amiga and the Atari. In this game, you play as Lester, who is a scientist doing some kind of work in a very 80s feeling scientific lab. Lester's just doing his job running some experiments until something goes wrong. Holy cow, what just happened there? Now Lester is in a place that he doesn't recognize, swimming in water and in a hostile environment, and he has to try and survive. Hopefully he can find some friends, maybe even a way home, because clearly this isn't Earth, and I would indeed call it Another World. Another World is an action puzzle platformer unlike anything else that had come out before this, because the action and the puzzles and the platforming that you're doing is all in real time, and anything that you do incorrectly will result in your death. You have to solve these puzzles on the fly and have to do it really, really quickly a lot of the time, or else you're gonna die. This is what I like to call a trial and die game. Just like Limbo, which you should check out my review. I'll put the link up in the little card up there. This is much like that, where you will do something in the game, figure out that this is not the right thing to do, die, and then try and work out why you died in order to figure out a way to eventually solve the puzzle and get through the room that you were in. Just like the very start of the game, you are teleported to another world and then you end up in this weird water lake thing. And if you don't press any buttons, tentacles come up from the bottom and grab you. Once you see that and you die, you're like, oh no, I must swim to safety. So then you press the buttons and you swim out. But if you hang around the lake for too long after that, the tentacles come out and grab you anyway. Now you know not to do that, so now you swim out and then you walk away from the lake. As this keeps going, you will learn different things about each area of the game, and every time you die, you will learn something new, so then you can progress and hopefully get through each room and solve each puzzle. The controls are very simple. You can walk, run, jump, and interact with things, as well as you get a gun later on, which has a shooting, and it has like a shield thing that you can put up, and that's about all that you'll be using throughout the entire game, and your wits. That's the most important part. Now, I mentioned that I believe Another World is an indie game, and I will fully stand by that, and here are my reasons why. Eric Chachi created this game from scratch over the period of about 2 years. He developed everything that you see in front of you, from the game engine to the art and the animations. This includes the strange art style this game went with, which uses rotoscoping and vectoring in order to reduce memory use to get the most out of the performance in this game. Because this came out on the Amiga and the Atari, which were not powerful consoles at all, he had to do all of these tricks in order to get his game to be as big and colorful and unique as it could be, and also run on the system, because if it was too crazy, then the Amiga or the Atari just wouldn't support it. This was his passion project, and aside from getting the soundtrack developed by Jean-Francis Freitas, probably butchered that name, he did this all by himself. If this is not an indie game, then I don't know what is. It has the same story as indie games of today, just done so many years before it was even considered a thing. This game gave us one incredible and very strange art style. It is that unique. I can't think of any other game before or afterwards that even comes close to this kind of game. And that's not to say it's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm just saying that this game has such a unique art style that when you look at it, you go, wow, what the hell am I looking at? And that works in this game's favor. You are exploring another world, and because of this strange art, when you see the monsters, when you see the other characters, when you see the world, you can't help but get engrossed in it. And this otherworldly feel to it, because of that strange art style, just helps it. You just really feel like you're exploring something that is not Earth. But history and art style are well and good. This is a video game after all, so let's talk about its actual gameplay. Like I said, this is a trial and die game, and you'll be dying a lot as you're figuring out all the different screens and all the different puzzles through this game. Whilst the game isn't terribly long, being able to be beaten within a couple of hours after you know how to do everything, the very first time that you go through it will probably take you a long time as you try and figure out how to do all this stuff. But here are where a lot of the problems lie. I know that this is a trial and die game, but I felt so many of these deaths were cheap, with things that were killing me off screen I could not know about, or things that were just happening that I had no context with, and I would just die. It is good that you have unlimited lives so you can keep trying, but most of the time you get sent back to the beginning of the room, meaning you have to do everything over again, and some of these rooms are fairly large and you have to do quite a few things. As you're going through the game, some of the larger puzzles have an autosave feature, which is very welcome because as you're getting really far into the puzzle, it'll save so you don't have to do the entire thing over. That's very good. Unless it saves at an inconvenient time, putting you in a situation that is hard to get out of, or it has not saved something that you've done even though you have done it, and then you get confused and you have to do it all again. It's a little hard to explain, but maybe this will help. At one point in the game, you have to get past this guard, which is a little difficult to do because you have to get into a firefight with him. But there is a cheeky way that you can get through him. If you go up above him and shoot the chandelier, it lands on his head, killing him. When I was playing through, I knew I'd killed this guy, but then when I was trying to solve the rest of the room's puzzle, I had died, and when it sent me back to an autosave that was after the fact of the start of the room puzzle, it didn't save the fact that I had killed him. So then when I was running through towards the end and trying to get past him, I was a little shocked to see that he was still alive, even though I knew I had killed him. It is very frustrating, and it's one of those things that you just have to keep track of, and it's very hard because there's so many moving elements in this game and all these puzzles, trying to keep track of all the ones that you have done, and when the autosave, screws you around, makes it a little difficult, but with some perseverance, you can get through it. Part and parcel with this kind of game as well, a lot of these puzzles have very strange and abstract solutions, and some of them have to be done in a particular order in order for you to survive and get through it. And if you don't do it in the correct order, then, oh well, you die. Maybe I'm just not smart enough for this kind of game because I needed help. There was quite a few times where I got stuck and I had no idea how to progress because there are no clues, there's no driving force, there's no dialogue, there's no anything in this game, and you have to figure it out all by yourself. So maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe this game is just not for me because I just could not figure it out and I needed a guide at certain points. When I finally got through this game, I was a little bit disappointed as well because the story element to it was kind of sparse, and I know that's what the creator was going for. There is no dialogue, there's a little bit of grunting, there are no written words or anything like that. All of the dialogue and all of the story are conveyed through the short cutscenes, which were very cool to see in the day. Also through the world building and what's going on and what your character's doing. But because of that, there's so little story found in the actual game, it's left up to so many interpretations. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. Like, who is this guy that I've been helping out? Why was he in jail? Was he a freedom fighter? Was he a terrorist? Am I a good guy or am I a bad guy? I don't know. I'm just doing stuff. Because of that, I think that part of the game loses its charm. I know that games like Dark Souls and, Bendy and the Ink Machine do a lot of their story hidden in the background, and that is fine, because it's not all of the story. It is just a good chunk of it, which, if you want to hunt for that kind of stuff, that's good. But here, there is no lore that you can pick up. There's no secret collectibles that expand the world. There are no, things that you can find that are unique to the game. There's nothing. And because of that it gets rid of the replay value as well. Once you finish the game, there's no reason to ever go back to it unless you want to try and do it without dying. But even then, that doesn't reward you with anything. There's no point to ever pick up this game again because once you finished it, it's done. So not only is there no replayability and the story is a little lackluster, I just think that there should have been more to it. They also released a 20th anniversary edition to it, which updated the graphics and changed around the music and sound effects to be of higher quality. They tried to keep the charm of the original game with the updated graphics, and I think they did a very good job here. It still looks that strange rotoscopy and alien landscape, but now there's just more to see. In my opinion, Another World is not worth it. I fully understand the impact that this game had on the gaming world when it came out, from its art direction, its storytelling, and its gameplay. But as a game, it sucks. It is not very fun to play. The fact that you have to die so many times, and some of those deaths, in fact a lot of those deaths, feel very cheap, and it feels like you did not earn them because you couldn't see them coming and you didn't know what was going to happen, only to be sent back quite far in the level and you have to do all of these things again, from that weird autosave that sometimes deletes some of the things that you have done. So even though you have solved part of the puzzle, the autosave didn't save that solution, so now you have to do it again, and you don't even know that until you get to the point where the puzzle that you needed to have solved is still not solved. It is very frustrating, it is not very fun, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just too dumb for this kind of game, because I needed help. I needed to go online in order to solve it, because I couldn't figure it out. There is not enough direction, and there is not enough hints or anything like that in the game for me to get through it. So I don't know. But honestly, the gameplay is not fun, the controls are okay, the art style is unique, but also very, very ugly. And I get that it, helped create a cinematic kind of idea of storytelling, and it did launch a few other games in this style afterwards, but this one, no good. So guys, tell me what you thought about this game. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was that hard? Is it just me? Am I just dumb? Let me know. I don't know why this game got such critical acclaim when it came out, because it's just not very fun to play. I just don't get it. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me why it was really good. What am I missing? Please tell me in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I'm really sick at the moment, so it's hard to do takes without snorting, and I'm losing my breath really quickly, and no fun being sick. No fun at all. Hey guys, Lytane here, and thank you so much for checking out this video. Should probably put my phone on silent. Limbo is an action platformer. Limbo... Oh, now I'm talking about Limbo. It's another world. It's supposed to be another world.